Hey everybody, welcome back to BK's Bullets. Today we're talking about Bisexual Superman. Hey everybody, welcome back to BK's Bullets. As always, I'm your host, Brent, and today we're going to talk about John Kent, Bisexual Superman, as all the papers are calling him today. This is Monday, Columbus Day, Indigenous Peoples Day. I guess it's National Coming Out Day, something like that. But before we get into it, let me ask you, please do one thing. Please subscribe. Helps me out, helps the channel grow, lets you know when I drop new videos, all that good stuff. So, Superman John Kent. Yes, Superman, his name is John Kent because in the comics right now, Superman Clark Kent, his dad, is off fighting other things out there in the multiverse, things like that. So we are left with his son, John Kent, who technically I guess is like 14, 13 years old, but thanks to this storyline in the comic books has been aged up to a young man, 17, 18, 19, 21-ish, whatever. He looks older, old enough to drink maybe. Anyway, he's running around as Superman right now. He's got his own book written by Tom Taylor, who's a wonderful writer, wrote all the Injustice books, or most of them. I think he stepped away for a little bit, but Tom Taylor wrote Injustice, wrote All New Wolverine with X-23, which was fantastic. He's a terrific writer, and now we have the revelation today, the day before the book comes out, that I think this is going to be in John Kent Superman number 3 or number 4. But anyway, that John Kent is bisexual. That's fine. No issues there, right? I really don't know what to say about it or what to think about it, and I think that's the point. If you don't know what to say or what to think about it, then you shouldn't feel any way about it at all. After all, it's really probably because you are like me, maybe a cisgendered white man or whatever they want to call us these days, and you don't think a certain way and you're not represented by that community, or you're not looking for representation in that way, and you don't want to feel any way about it, that's perfectly fine. If it angers you, maybe you should rethink your perspective. If you're happy about it, fantastic. I'm right there with you. I'm glad that you're happy about it. I don't have a problem with it either way. I think it's a company doing something with its characters, that it's, wanting to push the representation stuff more. After all, comics is not a dying medium. It's kind of stagnant, maybe stale. And they're looking for a way to bring in more readers of different ethnicities, of different types, different ages. And this is certainly a way that they can do that. And if they're trying to get it via the representation hook or representation angle, that's fine. I think the thing to think about it is, if you're angry about it or you don't feel a certain way about it, you're probably, be cool with that. Be cool with not thinking a certain way about it. I'm certainly cool with it. I saw the headlines this Monday morning and I went, oh, okay, that's interesting. We'll see where this goes, right? You can only tell good stories or bad stories with it. And I think if it leads to more good stories, then I think it's something worth telling, right? Now, after all, this is a character that is basically brand new in the last 5 years or so. This is somebody that doesn't have a whole lot of comic book history. He is evolving in front of us. We're going on this journey with him. This is something that they can easily inject into this character and make it about him and his journey of self-discovery and make it feel real. Kind of the opposite of what they're doing with Tim Drake right now. Tim Drake also came out as bisexual in, I don't know if he came out per se. There was a comic, I think it was last month, where I think it was a gay character asked Tim Drake out on a date. They were on that date, stuff happened, got interrupted with vigilantism and stuff like that, and Tim Drake went back to that kid, I think said, let's continue our date or something like that, or vice versa. That one I'm a little bit more, not weird, I guess weird is a word for it. It's not concerned, it's just weird because Tim Drake is an older character, but at the same time, it's this kind of the same thing when Brian Michael Bendis made Bobby Drake Iceman gay. All of a sudden in All New X-Men, when he was writing that title, and it was like, okay, and they kind of moved on with it. I didn't feel a particular way about that either. It's just weird. Tim Drake, I think, is closer to me because I've been reading him longer than I was, like, reading a lot more Batman books than I was reading Iceman books or X-Men books, stuff like that. So the Tim Drake thing did strike me as a little weird, but again, if they're going to tell a story about it, fine. If they tell a good story, I'm fine with that. I think it is a little weird, though, that it is both Superman's son and Robin now are bisexual at, like, the same time in the same year. It seems like, well, not that we can only have one, but maybe could we tell one story at a time? Are they going to meet? Are they going to not date each other, but are they going to talk about this journey with each other? Maybe that would be an interesting story to read and explore about two young men finding themselves, figuring themselves out, all that kind of stuff. So I think it's a little bit weirder with Robin because it felt a little bit more sudden. I think because there's so much history with him. I mean, Tim Drake was created in the 1990s, so he's 25, almost 30 years old probably by now. In terms of a character, not as, like, the age of the character. He's always been a perpetual teenager or college student, right? So it is a little bit weird that it's all of a sudden, but at the same time, like, I don't think we didn't have that many gay comics characters in the 1990s, much less even earlier than that. I mean, I remember being a kid and watching The Real World on MTV, which is a show on a channel that used to play music videos that no longer does. And even The Real World's not even around anymore. But The Real World was a reality show, the first of its kind, that was people living together, and they brought together a bunch of strangers, and they purposefully made people different. Everybody on the cast was a little bit different from the next person. You always had characters of different races, of different sexualities, and maybe they brought in somebody who never experienced someone of a different race or a different sexuality before. So you had them you watched them purposefully go on this journey of, realizing that other people are different, and whether they reacted to it good or not was always interesting to watch. There were quite a few people who reacted to it well, quite a few people who didn't, but it was always interesting to watch people react to something that they'd never seen before. So I think you had that in the 90s, and it's grown, like, in the 2000s, and now you have a whole lot of artists and entertainers and young people coming out, and living their lives and things like that. So it's a reaction, I think, to the general culture that DC is looking for characters to explore this side of themselves, or to represent those types of people, those folks out there, so that they have a character to latch on to. I think you're going to see people. I mean, Superman is supposed to be for everybody. So if you have a problem with his son being bisexual, then you're not for Superman being for everybody. And that's really what Superman's all about, right? So, again, I think it's fine. It's DC. This is a character that they own. DC owns this character, not a person, right? This is a character that was created under a work-for-hire contract, and DC owns it wholeheartedly. They can do with him whatever they want. They can make him gay. They can make him straight. They can make him bisexual, and we're just going down this particular route. Why is he bisexual other than gay? I don't know. Maybe they're thinking it's kind of like maybe they can take it back at some point. Not take it back, but if the bisexual thing reaction is bad, maybe they'll have him date a female later on down the line. So it's maybe them trying to have it both ways. That's a terrible thing to say. I'm still working out these thoughts, I guess. But you know what I mean, like, they're gonna, if he's come out bisexual, he's gonna date a guy in a storyline, and then he's gonna date a girl, and if the reaction is bad or some other writer doesn't want to deal with it, they can always have him date a girl down the line and not really have to deal with that storyline. So it's kind of giving themselves an out, maybe. Personally, I would rather see somebody, rather than really push it and, like, really say, oh, no, he's gay or something like that. And because you already have Tim Drake as this other bisexual character. So, I don't know. You can never have more. You can always have more than one. You can never have enough. But at the same time, if we're going to do two at the same time and they're both the same thing, then maybe we should make something a little bit different. I don't know. Creative wise, it sounds a little weird to say, but it's just like well, you're kind of stealing the spotlight. Although I'm seeing a whole lot more talk about, and DC's pushing it a whole lot more, of John Kent being bisexual than they did when Tim Drake came out. Like, Tim Drake came out in there's no issues of Robin to come out. I mean, there are, but it's Damian Wayne's books, not Tim Drake's book. So Tim Drake's kind of been pushed to the side. He's kind of now this like C or D-list level character because he doesn't have his own book, and that's sad that they did that to Tim Drake. Poor Tim Drake. Codename Robin, or Red Robin, whatever the hell you want to call him. Never codename Drake. No, Bendis, no. But John Kent does have his own book. He's calling himself Superman. They're calling him Superman because Clark Kent is away. So you're getting a whole lot more media push. And especially that this news is coming out on a Monday when DC books drop on Tuesdays, at least digitally. I don't know if any comic shops out there are actually putting them out on Tuesdays and then putting everything else out on Wednesdays. I'm still seeing my local shops here in the area promote New Comic Day as Wednesday. They're always putting them out on Wednesday. But DC is definitely giving this a bigger media push than they did for Robin. I think because you have the name of Superman attached to the character as opposed to Robin. And Superman is a bigger IP than Robin is, especially. Here's Superman up above me. But yeah, there you go. That's my thoughts on it. Not really much to say other than I don't have a problem with it. This is a brand new character. They can do with it what they want. And as long as they tell a good story, ultimately, I think at the end of the day, that is what matters. And if they're trying to reach new readers through this representation angle, I think that's fine. I would like to see the medium continue and grow rather than to see it wither and die and strangle by telling the same stories about the same characters towards the same old white men that they've been telling for the last 50 years. So I'd rather read something new than read the same story repurposed again and again and again. And if you don't want to read these stories, you can certainly go back to your old stories. All my old stories are over here. They're all on my iPad. I can go read them whenever I want. I can certainly reread them. You know, I did that with Why the Last Man. I want to do that with some of these other Vertigo titles that I haven't read in a while. But I also want to read new, good stuff. So if this goes down that route and we get a new Superman classic out of this, fantastic. So there's my thoughts on it. Again, Superman, he's for everybody. And if you're against that, then you don't really know Superman. So there you go. Let me know down below what you guys think, and we will see you guys next time in the Funny Pages.